Hey guys, welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today we are over in Chestnut Ridge and I am building on Cantor's Cottage in the Writer's Glen area of Chestnut Ridge. And this is a 30 by 30 lot. This lot was the absolute perfect size to be able to add everything I wanted to add in this build. We have the house itself, aka cottage. It definitely looks more like a cottage to me. And we were able to fit 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms inside of this cottage. And then outside we have a little bit of a play area for the kids in the actual backyard, which ends up being quite a small backyard, but it gets the job done at the end of the day. And we also were able to fit a little garden area on the side of the house in the front corner. And then in between the front corner and the backyard, we were able to add a little like horse barn slash shed. And I was not able to fit any sort of the horse's skill items, but right outside of this lot over to the right, in between those white fences, there are some of the horse's skill building items, and I can't remember exactly which kind they were, but I believe it's just the jumping skill item. I don't think it's the barrels, but you can travel in different parts of Chestnut Ridge and they have the different skill building items for the horses throughout the world. And I absolutely love that they added that in Chestnut Ridge because some of the lots are actually on the smaller side, like this one that I'm building here. Not all of them are huge, and that's quite a big item to be able to fit on a lot. It's really not easy to fit them on a lot, to be honest. I've done it before, but it takes up a lot of space and it looks a little bit too cramped, which is my style, to be totally honest. I do love to make a really filled up lot, which I do fill this up, but something about those items can look a little off to me. So I really just wanted to avoid that in this build. I've never done like a horse ranch sort of build without putting those horse skill building items. And so it was a nice change of pace to do that this time in this build. And I am so happy with the way that this build turned out. Of course, if you guys find this video enjoyable in any way, or if you like this build, please feel free to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. Doing either one of those things really helps my channel out. It helps the algorithm kick my videos out to other simmers. And feel free to leave a comment down below on what your favorite part of today's build is, or maybe if you have any sort of future requests for a future build of mine, feel free to leave those below as well. I don't always get to every single request, but I definitely try my best to get to most of them, and I just love to hear from you guys, so definitely leave some comments down below. So I am getting the outside of our build pretty much together, at least on the house portion of our build, and I am using these windows from Horse Ranch. And at first, when Horse Ranch first came out, I wasn't a huge fan of these windows. There's something about the black paneling on the inside that I just wasn't fond of, but honestly, I really like them now. I think they add so much to this build and they just fit this build perfectly. And I just think they're super cute. I went back and forth on the color scheme of the outside of this build. You guys probably seen it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do white trim or not. I've really tried to do something different than what I normally do. I always tend to do a white trim. That's just what my eyes go to. I love a good white trim. I think it is so gorgeous and it just makes a build pop. But I was trying to do something different here. I was trying to do like a wood trim, and I don't know, that just looks, you know, it looks good in a certain time and place, and I have to be in the mood to do it, to be honest, and this just wasn't it. I always just love the white trim better, and so I went ahead and I said, you know what, I'm doing the white trim, it's fine. And so I went ahead and recolored all of like the pillars and the fencing, the columns on not only the porch itself, but also where I put it on each corner of the wall. I went ahead and changed that to white. I did the roof trim white. All of the trim in this house altogether is white. And I just think it just looks so good. It just makes it pop and it's so beautiful. And right now the window boxes I have is blue, but I do end up changing it to yellow. I was a little indecisive on the color that I wanted to do for them. I almost went white, but I figured that was a little bit too much white. We really needed some sort of color to stand out on the outside of the build, and so I went with yellow. I just love the yellow flowers here in The Sims. They are just so pretty to me. And so I use them more times than not, and so I used them here. And actually I stuck with yellow on the inside of this house too. So in the kitchen, I'm using these counters from Cottage Living, and this specific swatch that I'm using has like yellow curtains on some of the upper cabinets, and I just think it gives such a cute, homey, farmhouse style look to the kitchen. I absolutely love it. I really wish I had one of the kits installed. I disabled all of the kits. Well, I actually disabled all of the packs. I'm only using a few of the expansion packs for this build. I can't remember exactly which ones, to be honest. Horse Ranch for sure, Cottage Living, Seasons, Adventure Awaits, Cats and Dogs, and Get Together, I believe, are the only ones that I'm using for this build, and I have all of my other packs disabled. And so I really was missing the kitchen clutter kit where it has that fridge with all of the magnets and stickers on the front face of it. I really would have loved to added the one that had like a chicken on the front of it in this build. I feel like it would have fit it perfectly, but I have it uninstalled, and so I couldn't use it. I ended up using the Cottage Living fridge instead, which is fine. It still fit the vibe. I just think the other one would have added like that homey family kitchen style that I was going for. But like I said, the Cottage Living fridge fit nonetheless, so it's fine. At least the rest of the kitchen I was able to fill up with like clutter pieces on the countertops, and so I really got the cluttered family style kitchen I was going for, just without the fridge. I went for like a galley style kitchen. That's just how the floor plan laid out. Those are not my favorite kitchens. They are very, very functional and playable, but honestly, just the look of them isn't my favorite, but they're not bad by any means. But I wasn't able to fit a kitchen island like I usually love to have in my builds, but you know what? You can't have everything all the time, so it's fine. I am not done with the kitchen. We will be back there to add all of the decorations a little bit later, but I am adding all of the other furniture items that I know I'm gonna want to use in each room. That is just what I tend to do as I build for some reason. It's like my building style, I guess. I don't know, but we will be back there to finish decorating it. I went ahead and added the complete living room set that we're going to end up using, and it's pretty much mainly from Horse Ranch. At least the 3-seater sofa and the single chairs are. As far as the coffee table goes, that is a basic base game one, and I can't quite remember the end tables I ended up using, but we'll be back there anyways. And I went ahead and placed the dining table I was going to want to use too. I had the dining table placed since the very beginning because I knew I wanted to use that one from Horse Ranch. It is like so long, and so I definitely needed to plan for it, but I have been dying to use it lately. I think it is so pretty with like the table runner on top, and it's nice and long. You're able to fit plenty of chairs on there, so it's great for like large families. And this isn't necessarily a super large family, but it's a medium-sized family. It ended up being like 5 Sims that I fit in this house. And of course, if they have any other friends or extended family, they're gonna invite them over too. So they needed plenty of space. And you could totally delete like the end tables that I end up putting on both sides of the dining table, and you could add 2 more chairs, and so there's plenty of space for all sorts of Sims to be able to fit at that table. I really love those super long dining tables in The Sims. I just think they're so usable and so functional. And not to mention, they look really nice too, which is always a plus. So now that I have the type of Sims I know I want for my build, and I have all of the furniture in its place, I went ahead and came back outside so that I can rearrange the yard how I want it. And I also end up building the horse barn as well, but I don't end up furnishing it. I mean, you guys know me. I tend to go back and forth because that's just how I build. It's how I feel like I'm getting a lot of progress done. Very rarely will I completely build and finish the house before moving on to outside or vice versa. I'm not sure why I am the way that I am, but you know what? It's what makes me unique, I guess. But as far as the horse barn goes, usually I'm only able to fit one bed for a single horse inside of my barns, but I really wanted to make sure that I was able to fit at least two in there. Like, I wanted two different stalls, and the stalls are really only able to fit the beds, but really that's all you need for the stalls anyways. And then I was also able to fit a hay feeder in each of the stalls as well. And then outside of the stalls in the actual like main area of the barn, I have just a single trough for the horses to share, and I figured that would be plenty. If not, then there's so many places on this lot that you guys would be able to add an additional one if needed. Now, as far as the barn's structure goes, I ended up adding a second story to it just because I wanted it to have an additional detail at the top. I really love the way that the two-story barns look, but the second story is non-existent. I just delete the floor, and so it's just a super tall ceiling. I almost made it to where I had like a ladder going up the second story, and then I could put additional items up there. But at that point in the build, there was really nothing else needed. But it would be a really good area to have like a teen hangout space or something like that if you do end up downloading this and you have like teens and they need an additional space. I absolutely love to renovate the top story of my barns into an additional space for the teens, or just like a party space, or maybe you could put like a woodworking bench up there or a flower arranging bench. There's a lot of different things you could put up there, but I decided just to leave it open for this build. And I decided to make it match the house like almost completely. I really wanted that like uniform look on the outside of this build. I really love the way it looks when the barn or the shed matches the house. I think it just looks so nice that way. And it probably would have looked better if I used the same windows on the first story that I did on the second story, but I really wanted to use those like open horse barn windows that comes with Horse Ranch, so that it just makes it look more like a horse's barn or a horse's shed, like an area that the horse sleeps. And it's obviously not air conditioned. At least that's what I thought when I was building this. I wanted it to look like a traditional one, and usually they're not air conditioned. And so you really need that window that's open. And so I just wanted it to look realistic that way. The second story is more for looks at the end of the day. So I have the same windows on the second story as I do on the house. And I debated on whether or not I should make it match the windows on the first story of the barn, but at the end of the day, I thought it looked so much better with these windows that I ended up using. And the horse barn windows, where the horses' stalls are, it's really honestly on the back of the build, so you can't even see it on the front of the build, so I figured it was fine. And this little area right here, this is where I end up putting the garden, and I use these garden plots from Cottage Living. You can either grow the oversized produce, or you could do just regular sized produce. It's completely up to you. I didn't pre-plant anything. I wanted it to be nice and open and new, ready to go for you guys if you download this. I did put the chicken coop in there with it, because if I'm not mistaken, the chickens can actually help eat the bugs and maybe the weeds, but I know for a fact at least the bugs off of the plants. So the chickens definitely help with that. And you could also put the little mini sheeps and goats in there as well. And I want to say that those help control the bugs and weeds on the plants as well. I could be wrong there, but I want to say that they do. If not, then at least you could get milk or wool from them. So, I mean, at least it's not completely useless. You could also put them in there where the horses are. It's completely up to you where you want to put the mini sheep and goats, but I really wanted this to be nice and big with a bunch of different like areas to be able to put different livestock or gardens or whatever else you might need for a farm. And of course, like I was saying earlier, I do have that little play area for the kids. I ended up using the modular playgrounds that come with Adventure Awaits. I cannot stop using them. I'm sure you guys love them as much as I do. I just think they're the cutest thing ever. And it's so nice having some other playground for the kids to use other than the pirate ship or the spaceship. Like, these are so much easier to be able to place in a smaller area. Like, you can make them as big or small as you want. And I almost put a swing set with it, but I instead ended up putting the monkey bars because I like how the monkey bars, you can actually level up the kids' motor skill. And you cannot do that with the swing set, which is super unfortunate. I wish they would have put some sort of skill with the swing set. But I mean, I guess I could kind of see why they didn't. I mean, I guess it doesn't take much skill to swing, but it does take skill to do monkey bars. Like, I could not do that as a kid. Could you guys? Were you guys one of those kids that were super good at the monkey bars, or were you like me and you couldn't even do the first one? Which is super sad, but I just have zero upper body strength. Like, it's still like that to this day. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I've learned to live with it. My lower body strength makes up for it though. I used to be super into jogging, but you know what? As an adult, not so much, but I do like skating, and I recently got back into that, and it's been like years. And I like to do, like, when I go on cruises, they usually have like some sort of like ropes course that you can do where you have to have good balance. And I have really good balance. I mean, I am clumsy, which, you know, that's quite the combination to have, but I do promise that I really do have good coordination if I pay attention. But I'm clumsy because I don't pay attention. I think that's what my problem is. Every time I'm like just walking without paying attention, that's when I trip. But if I pay attention, I'm fine. So I really just need to pay attention, I guess, is the moral of this story. But anyways, we are back inside and I am finishing up the interior of our build, and I really wanted to use that wallpaper with the pretty flowers on there, like the pretty roses, but it only comes with one swatch, and I really wanted the bedrooms upstairs to have different colors in each of them. And so I decided to go ahead and exchange that really pretty flowered one with this still pretty but not as dramatic wallpaper. And it doesn't have flowers on there, but it has some sort of like detail, so it gives something other than just straight wall. And it has that paneling on the bottom, and I think this is a really good wallpaper to use in like a farmhouse style build like this one. And plus, there's so many different colors to choose from as far as like the top goes, and even the bottom, but the white is my favorite. We already discussed that earlier in the build, but the tops, you could do yellow, you could do green, you could do pink or peach, you could do blue if I haven't said that yet. So there's a bunch of different ones you can use. And I used almost all of them in this build, at least the majority of them. And then in the bathrooms, I wanted to use something different so it wasn't just the same thing every time. And so I went with this sort of tile, half like just drywall and paint. And I felt like it gave kind of like an old school bathroom look, and so I felt like it made sense for this build. I don't know, I never use it, and so it was nice to use it this time. It was just something different. And in the kitchen, I actually ended up using this wallpaper. I almost decided to do a different one because I usually like to have like the tile in the back of the cabinets as a sort of like backsplash, but the way that the wood goes up the wall, it makes it look like a backsplash already. So I decided just to keep it with this wallpaper and paneling. And I thought it looked pretty nice. I almost also decided to do that like checkerboard or plaid looking, I guess more like checkerboard wallpaper that looks perfect for a farmhouse build, and I so want to use it at some point. I just never can find the right opportunity to do so. And this build was another one that I wanted to use it in, but like I said, I just can never find the right build to use it. And so once again, I decided not to. I'm pretty happy with the way that this wallpaper and paneling looks in the kitchen though. So as far as the living room goes, we are finishing up in here, and I do end up exchanging some or all of these nightstands or end tables, and this one in between both of these chairs, I decided to use that like kind of tall end table from Horse Ranch, and then the ones on both sides of the sofa, I wanted them to match with that one in between the chairs. And I don't like the end tables as far as the swatches go anyways that come with Horse Ranch, because a lot of the like shorter end tables, it almost looks like a dirty wood, and I didn't want to use those in the living room. And so I decided to use these ones from Base Game. I also put one of these in the dining room, and it kind of looks like a distressed paint on the wood. And so I thought it looked really nice. And like I said, I wanted it to match with the other end table, as well as this computer desk right there too. Now the coffee table, I wanted it to match the wood, but this particular one I really wanted to use. I didn't want to use any other ones because that one fit perfectly there, and they only have like a white and a dark wood and maybe like a reddish wood, but they definitely didn't have a light wood, which I wish they did. Like, they have done so many overhauls of swatches in the Base Game, but they have yet to add any new ones to that coffee table, which honestly is one of my favorites in the game. Like, it fits perfectly for a big open space, and it just looks so nice. I really like it, and I only like the white swatch, believe it or not. And so yeah, I really wish that they would add at least like a light wood, because I would use it all the time. Like in this build, I would use it. But to be honest, the difference between the white and the coffee table and the lightness, the light wood of the end tables and the computer desk actually looks really nice with each other, especially considering the sofa is like a beige and a white combination too. And so I don't know, the living room really looks really nice. And that rug is actually from Growing Together. So that's also one of the packs that I'm using, if I didn't mention it earlier, is Growing Together. And that rug just ties the whole living room together. I think it looks so nice in there. And I used the fireplace from Horse Ranch because I wanted it to match the stone that I'm using on the outside of the house. And it also fit perfectly there. It fit better than the Cottage Living ones did, and it also matched better than the Cottage Living one did. And I like the way that the Cottage Living ones look a little bit better, but you know what? It just didn't match as good as this Horse Ranch one did. And on the fireplace, when it's really big and tall like that, and it has the stone from the top to the bottom, usually you would think you would not be able to put a TV on there, but I love to delete the walls behind the fireplace and freely place like a wall hung TV on there, and it looks so nice that way. And you can also do the same with a picture, but I prefer to do TVs on my fireplaces because you can actually use it. Like, you can't use the picture. I guess technically you can, but who just sits there and views art all day long when you can sit there and watch TV all day long? So I really like to do the TVs. It just makes it look more realistic, and it's more functional in my opinion. So we are now finishing up the kitchen. I pretty much have the majority of it together. I have a little area with a coffee pot with like a little coffee nook, I guess, and it has like a tray with cups and little coffee stirs and like maybe coffee packets, I'm not really sure, but all the stuff you need for a good cup of coffee in the morning. And then next to that, I put some like pitchers. I don't know, really. You can make tea and put the tea in the pitchers, or maybe put the coffee in the pitchers and bring it to the table for breakfast. Whatever, it just looked cute. And then over there by the stove, I put, of course, that little like chicken egg holder that has like a cute chicken on it. That is from Cottage Living. I absolutely love that piece of decor. I think it is so stinking cute, especially for a farmhouse build. And it has so many good swatches, but I cannot help but use the white one with like the yellow flowers. It's just so adorable. And then I put like a utensil holder with some paper towels and just made it look nice and cute on the counters. And I did make sure my sim was able to prepare a dish and actually use the counters, because sometimes it's hard to say what pieces of clutter on a counter is going to prohibit your sim from making a dish and what is going to be fine. It's hard to really know. It's like Sims have a mind of their own when it comes to that. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. In this case, my sim was able to make multiple dishes. And so I was super happy when I seen that. And I didn't have to delete any sort of decoration off of the cabinet because I thought it looked so cute. I didn't want to delete anything. Sometimes I have to and it makes me sad. But yeah, like I said, I was happy to see that I didn't have to do that this time. And downstairs in the dining room, I put that end table and I was indecisive on what I wanted to put on top of that end table for, decoration. And I almost put another like chicken sculpture, but I feel like one chicken sculpture in a build is probably enough. And I came across that like first place horse championship trophy, and I was like, you know what, this is a horse ranch build. They have 2 horses. They're obviously into like horse championships and horse riding and all of that good stuff. Why not put a first place trophy on that end table? It's like set up for everybody to see. And I just think it was such a good touch to put there. And the best thing I probably could have put on that end table. Just made so much sense. And so I ended up putting that first place trophy on there. I just wanted to mention that because I don't know, I just loved it so much. It felt so satisfying putting it there for some reason. But that is pretty much it for downstairs. Oh, I also added a couple of pet bowls, and I figured that this family had either 1 or 2 dogs, or maybe a dog and a cat, but I didn't put any cat trees anywhere. So with that being said, I figured maybe a dog. It could be up to you though. They're mainly horse people, but it's always nice to have a little companion in the house as well. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to say about the bottom level. And we are now upstairs working on the bedrooms, and I have the master bedroom done and the master bathroom. I first have to say, I love the way that the master bathroom turned out. I think it looks so good in there. And I don't know, just super decorated and like a realistic bathroom. I don't know, I'm just super happy with the way it came out for some reason. I love the his and her sink, and I have a singular stand-up shower in there. I figured that was fine. And then downstairs we have a half bath, and then that second bathroom upstairs is where the shub, the shub. I actually feel like that's kind of a good nickname for that though. The tub shower combo is, and so you'll be able to give your infant and toddler, once it grows up, a bath in there. So we have everything we need in this build to make it completely functional. Oh, and if you do have a dog, you can give your dog a bath in the tub too. I almost said shub again. Oh no, I hope I don't start saying that. Hopefully I forget it after this conversation. I do feel like that kind of makes sense for like a short term for it though. But I'm not gonna start saying it, guys. Trust me. Hopefully not. Anyways, we are now done with the infant's room and we're working on the child's room. As far as the infant's room goes, it's pretty simple. I just decided to put whatever the little infant would need. So there's the crib, there is the changing table. I have a high chair in the dining room downstairs. And then we have a little stuffed animal and a little like toy box with some blocks in front of it. So that should be enough for your infant to up their skills. And also I have one of those grabby mats in the living room downstairs too. And I added the one with little farm animals on there. I felt like that was too perfect not to do in this build. And we are now working on the children's room and it's almost done. I figured there's 2 twins in here, or maybe just children of around the same age. Maybe they're like a year or 2 apart. And I could not use this horse swatch for the bunk beds. I thought that was the cutest thing I ever seen. That little horse is just so adorable. I love the pink wooden frame on the bunk bed and I just think it's so cute. And so of course there's like a huge pink theme going on. Like pink and purple I would say is their favorite colors. And so I decked this room out with pink and purple with some like hints of like blue and green here and there. And we have a creativity table, we have the mental table. I added some like little like sheep chairs, or at least one. I almost did 2, but I did 1 sheep chair and 1 like teddy bear chair, and some other like little like clutter pieces around that looks like it's like arts and crafts clutter. And I just thought it turned out super cute. And so there should be more than enough skill building items for each of the age groups in this house. I didn't put a computer in anybody's room, which is typically what I do. I typically add a computer in literally everybody's room, but it was really nice for a change not to do that and add just a computer desk in the living room for everyone to share, because this seems like a super outdoorsy family that wouldn't spend a lot of time indoors at the computer anyways. And since they're outdoorsy, I really wanted to stick with that outdoorsy vibe. And at the very end of the build, in the front of the lot, there was like an open space against the fence that I could have added more landscaping in, but I felt like we had plenty of it. And so I ended up coming across the kayaks from Adventure Awaits, and I figured that would be perfect to add there. There is a little body of water off in the distance, and I'm not 100% sure if you can swim there, but I'm thinking if you can swim there, then you should be able to use those kayaks in that little like river. Hopefully, anyways, that is the hopeful like goal of putting the kayaks there. But if not, then they could travel somewhere else and use the kayaks. It just made sense for an outdoorsy family, and so I put them there. I thought it was cute. Most of the time, that's the reason why I do certain things, is because it looks nice and not necessarily because it makes sense. But if it makes sense, that is a plus for sure. But we are back outside finishing up the exterior of our build, and the inside is completely done. I still have to decorate the porch, but honestly, I keep it kind of simple out there. I have the plants like you see already, and then I add like a little like bench in the front next to the front door. And then I add just some like rocking chairs in the back, looking out at the backyard. And on the side, I add a chess table. And that's really about it for the porch. I really wanted to keep it nice and simple and not overly packed, but put a little bit of useful items out there as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention on this back porch, I added one of those grills from Horse Ranch. I just thought that was the perfect addition for a house like this. I thought it was cute. And I don't get to use that grill very often, so it was super fun to be able to use it here. And now we're just placing a whole bunch of landscape around the lot. So, I mean, to be totally honest, I'm using a lot of the same stuff I always use. I'm using these hedgerow bushes that I use all the time. These are my absolute favorite bushes in the game. I'm using these like cylinder, triangular bushes that are like shaped as triangles. I think they look nice in like the fronts of fences or gates, and like in certain nooks and crannies they look really nice. I'm using these super big bushes that are from the debug catalog and base game, as well as these super large and beautiful yellow flowers. And I'm just using this same combination throughout the whole lot. And we have plenty of trees on this lot too. So a lot of the trees are from the debug catalog. Some of them are from Horse Ranch debug. Some of them are from Get Together debug. Some of them are from base game debug. And then that white one in the center, I love that tree. That is actually from Cats and Dogs. And I think that is such a pretty tree. I love to add them in my builds, especially above like walkways. And you should not have a problem riding the horse throughout these like pathways, but I'm not 100% sure if they'll be able to go under that white tree. I'm actually kind of curious. If not, your sim will just go around. I have plenty of gates around this whole build, so it shouldn't really be a problem. I know for a fact your sims can walk underneath it. And I want to say it shouldn't be a problem to ride your horse under it, because they can always just like go through the leaves, if that makes sense. But like I said, if your sim riding the horse cannot go under it, there is that additional gate on the side of the property to lead to their little barn area. So it's fine. We have plenty of gates and other pathways to go if that one under the white tree doesn't work. For the horse, that is. Like I said, I know for a fact your sim can walk under it. But on the subject of horses, over on the barn, the front door that I'm using, that like barn door, I usually use that for my horse barns and my builds. This isn't the first time I've done it, and I've had several people ask me if that is functional for your horse to be able to go through, and yes, your horse can in fact go through that door. The only thing is that your sim cannot ride the horse when it does go through the door. But other than that, like, you can call the horse to eat, you can call them into their stall, you can call them to the bed, and they'll go there. And they can also go there themselves. And so it's functional. It's completely functional, trust me. I've tested it several times. um, so yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I've been asked several times before when I've done it in the past. And so I figured let me address it now before I get asked, just so I can save you guys the time of having to ask. Honestly, all of my builds I build with the playability of it in mind. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes and accidentally make something that's not playable, because listen, I'm human and I do make mistakes, trust me. But I do keep in mind if something doesn't work. Like, if you guys let me know, listen, yeah, you know, that looks nice, but it doesn't work. Great. I love that constructive criticism, because then I can keep in mind that it doesn't work for next time. Because if I don't know, then I'm going to keep doing it, to be honest. So, yeah, I do like when you guys do let me know if something doesn't work. I usually, if someone lets me know something doesn't work, I do take the time to test it out myself, just to know for sure, because I don't know. I just like to know, I like to see it in progress. And then I can go other ways of finding out how to make it more functional without changing it up too much, if that makes sense. And it also just helps me remember if I see it in game not working, it helps me remember it doesn't work. But last but not least, we are now finishing up the barn in the backyard. And by doing the barn, I really just wanted horse ranch items in general, so I decided to filter my catalog showing just horse ranch. And so by doing that, I found some additional things that I really wanted to use in the house. Like, I totally forgot that horse ranch had a bathroom hutch that I think is so cute, so much cuter than the one that I was going to use from base game. And so I replaced the one in the master bathroom from base game to the one from horse ranch. And I also decided to remove the coat rack by the front door and do the hanging shelf with like the little like cowboy horse ranch items on it, like sweaters, plaid shirts, cowboy hats, all of that good farm stuff. And then below that, I ended up putting like a little like shoe rack, and it just makes it look like, you know, if you come in the house, take your dirty shoes off. That's what it looks like, and I love that. Oh, and I finally remembered in a build to add a toy box for the pets outside. That was so satisfying. And then I added some additional like balls next to it for some different decorations. And in this area, I really wanted to add like something, and so I added a bench. I almost added the same bench over in the front area where I end up putting the kayaks at the end, but yeah, I removed the bench and put the kayaks because I thought the kayaks just was better. And as far as the barn goes, listen, I know the rug probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's one of those indoor-outdoor rugs in my mind, and so it's fine. You can just spray it off and it's fine. And it also just made it look better. It added something inside of the shed, and we needed something in here. And as far as like the additional items on the wall, I really just grabbed random stuff from the horse ranch catalog and I plopped it on there and I called it a day. And you probably seen the ladders I added. I do end up removing that, like I said earlier, and I just remove the floor and I make it a big tall ceiling, and I think it just looks better. But you could totally add the floor back, put some ladders, and make this an additional space of some kind. But we have officially reached the end of our build for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, please do not forget to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. And if you have any other friends that are simmers as well, definitely share this video with them if you think they would enjoy it. I hope you all have an amazing day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next one very soon. Bye guys!